This story is dedicated to Jacqueline Louise Fecteau Walsh, her children, her husband, and her badass sisters. There's all kinds of love. We think of romantic love as being the most important, but the sister love, that's a really strong love. And sister love can be hard. I should know, I have 6 sisters, or I used to have 6 sisters. It can be hard in the sense that it's sarcastic, it's teasing, it's critical, especially when you're the younger of the 7 girls, as I was, and so is my sister Jackie, who is 2 years younger than me. It can also be hard like a rock, like they got your back no matter what, and it's strong, and they'll fiercely defend you if anybody says something bad about you outside of the family. And my sisters were intense, and we were fierce, and our family and our close was forged together by a childhood that had many happy points in it. But we also lived together through the death of my mother, who died very young. And it was really hard on everyone, but no one so much as Jackie. Jackie wasn't ready. She was the youngest. It hit her hard. She wasn't ready to really be on her own. And, all my other older sisters and my 2 brothers moved away eventually, leaving Jackie and I with my dad. Now, my dad was incredibly strict. He was the strictest man, the strictest father I knew in our town in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Pawtucket. Where we lived on Chaplin Street. No, okay, anyway. But we had our family, and my father, who was incredibly rigid and strict, he wouldn't let us have bicycles. We couldn't have a driver's license. We had to be in on the street when the street lights came on when we were 18. It was like very, very strict. And but he was softer with us. I think he thought because my mother had passed that he had to be more nurturing, and he really tried. And he cried every single day in between the death of my mom and when he died 3 years later. But during that time, we were very close. We would do things like, it was extravagant to have a steak dinner, so he would take us to Ponderosa every Sunday. And it was such a good deal, he'd say. And we went on a trip to visit my mom's relatives around the country. But again, it hit my sister, Jackie, really, really hard. She's fiercely loyal. She's quirky, a loner. Her same best friend from when she grew up, Paula Pride, is still, or was, her same best friend. Until November 12th of last year, she took her life. And we didn't see it coming. And my sisters, she was pretty close to me, and her children were closer to me. But when she got married and moved away, and when you lose your parents when you're young, I think of it like the hub of the wheel is gone, and the spokes kind of go all over the place. And there isn't like that guilt of parents to bring you together for holidays. So people sort of made their way, and we kind of kept in touch, and we tried to have some family gatherings, but Jackie really went away. She went away, and she married a man, I think, that was, to her, very protective and there for her. But to the badass sisters of her in the Fecteau family, he was over-controlling. He wasn't good enough for the baby. And it's kind of like a lot of parents, But I can tell you, all of this intensity hit the fan at her funeral. I found out, and I immediately went down there the next day to be with her children and her husband. And I think her husband, he never was comfortable around us because I think he felt judged. And he didn't spend a lot of time with me. And when I had the job of calling all my siblings and telling them, well, my brother Bill helped me too. But I called a lot of them, and I could feel the anger and the blame and the way they were dealing with her death was was intense, as my sisters and I are. So I was going down there trying to make sure everything was okay and that there wasn't going to be a big blowout at the funeral. I was wrong. In all my best efforts to help everybody try to understand everybody did not work. And I worked really, really hard to try to get people to understand that when you love somebody, there's different ways that you love them, and you don't own them. Well, it was in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, where she was. And I found out that they weren't going to have funeral services. They weren't going to have an opportunity to talk about her. There was only going to be 2 hours of visitation. And my family found out that there was going to be a family hour an hour before. And we came, some of us, to that family hour, but the husband and the children would not let us in. They said we were not family. We were not immediate family. Well, this led to all of the police force of Elizabethtown coming to the funeral home. So, and I'm going to go over, so you can keep blowing the whistle. I just want to do this to my sister. Thank you. So word gets around to some of my other sisters who came a little bit later that we were not allowed into the family hour. And my sister Josette and Mary were especially furious. And my brother-in-law, who was very private person, didn't talk to any of us, wouldn't talk to any of us. Although he did talk to me when I first got down there. He wouldn't talk to my sisters, and they wanted answers. How could this happen? What happened? How could this be? And so when the other sisters found out, they went right to the front of the line, past all those waiting people in this packed funeral home, and my sister Josette said, "How can you do that? How can you keep our family away out of family hour? How could you do that?" And then the worst thing that could happen is 2 large men came up and pushed her away. And then that's when she really let loose. And she said, "What is wrong with you people? How can you be like this? How can you treat our family like this? We're grieving too." And my sister Mary and my sister, they were all yelling. And then the mother-in-law, who I have to admit, my sister didn't always like. My sister, she comes up and says, "Get them out of here now." And my sister Josette said, "You know what? Jackie never liked you." and my sister, she replies, "You're evil." And to which my sister Mary said, "And everybody knows she never liked you. She hated you." And I was sitting and I'm thinking, oh my God, I tried so hard to make this not happen. Next thing you know, I said, I can't stand it. I go out front, I see all these police officers coming in, people coming out, my sister Josette just yelling, "Fuck you!" In the parking lot. It was this commotion. My sister Patty won't leave. She's in there. She's like, "You're going to have to arrest me." And then the cop said, well, they stayed there and stayed there. Anyway, eventually we left. And I want to just say this, because I've never had an opportunity to publicly talk about her. Jackie was an awesome sister. She was a little odd, but I like that in people. She was really good. She could make flowers grow in crappy dirt in the backyard from seeds. She was loyal and kind and an awesome mother. She was a great nurse. She worked really hard, and I'm really missing her, and love really hurts.
Michelle Fecteau.